Nigerian workers is believed as direct impact on the efficiency of the sector and the nation's development. That's one way the NLC feels that this can be enhanced is the recent conversation around the upward review of the retirement age for civil servants. So, making a case for better treatment for Nigerian workers at the last celebration of Workers' Day last Thursday, the NLC President Joe Ajaero got an applause of his people, saying it is imperative to extend the revised retirement age of 65 years or 40 years of service currently enjoyed by teachers, health professionals, and judges to all public servants. Balancing the welfare of Nigerian civil servants with the national interest requires a strong approach. While an upward review of retirement age may be beneficial in some aspects, it is also necessary to assess the benefits with regard to the overall welfare of the Nigerian worker. And will the extension of retirement years impact really on the overall welfare of the civil servants or not? Let's get that answered on the program. This morning, I have in the studio human rights activist and communication consultant, Comrade Oman Dave. Good morning, Dave.
Thank you very much for having me. Goodbye, Nigerians.
Well, Comrade Oman, do you think at this time what is pertinent to average Nigerian civil servants is to ensure he or she stays longer in service?
Well, thank you very much. Like I said again, thanks for having me. I don't want to believe that, we are very good at policies, and implementing policies to the letter is another problem. There's another issue with Nigerians. Don't forget, there are issues, and there are issues. What a typical pensioner wants at the moment, to the best of my knowledge, is proper welfare. Now, he has served beautifully for either 35 years, depending on either his age or otherwise. And now he's retiring, and you are extending it. Why not carefully, critically look at the welfare? The welfare, because mind you, while he was in service, he was enjoying small things, and now he's going. If I were there, okay, partly what he was even putting in, they're using part of what his small savings to what do you call it? To do some transactions for the federal government as well. So there's profit that is coming into whatever they're getting. So his stipend should be increased. Mind you too, while he was in service, or while he's in service, what he enjoys is he goes to the hospital, he doesn't get full package of what he's supposed to have. What he gets is just like I call the tip of the iceberg. He doesn't get full comprehensive health care that he's supposed to have. Now you are extending, at whose detriment? Don't forget, just imagine that it is 5,000, or they're increasing it. An increment will amount to increment of extra monies that will be added to him. So will that better the country, Nigeria? Look, let me tell you, what we need at the moment is for pensioners to enjoy what I call social security. Now, for the 65 years that you've retired or otherwise, then you find out that, okay, while you're retired, it's very possible that you no more enjoy some of those social services, the healthcare and all of that. Why not look into post-retirement and see how this man, this baba, this mama can attend hospital at minimally, at a very, or no cost. What in the US and advanced countries call, how do you call it? Statement, like that elder statement. In their own case, when these people get into either a bus stop, they get into the trains, the tram, the buses at either no cost or relatively very cheap. So it helps their stipend that they get. They save some, and that helps them to take care of their health, and possibly for those that have siblings, wives or otherwise to take care of. But in the case of extending it, have you taken a critical study? Is that what we want at the moment? Will it solve the problem? We have, only God knows, the mammoth crowd of those that have retired. Are they collecting their stipends? Some have stayed and some are still staying 10, 15, 20 years without collecting that stipend. Is that the solution at the moment? For now, look into it. That's mine. Look into it. Do a comprehensive study of what you're going into. See the repercussion, short term, long term, and possibly You see,
Okay, a lot is going through my mind. I don't know where to start from all the things that you have raised now. But let me raise one thing that the NLC president said. The same way you raised that for teachers and judges. So don't those people also face those things that other civil servants face? Why extend theirs? Why not the general public?
Please correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me one teacher whose housing is we're in Abuja, in one of the highbrow areas in Abuja. Tell me one teacher. Tell me a teacher of a primary school and a secondary school inclusive that stays in Asokoro. Tell me a teacher who stays somewhere within the city center. They all come from the neighboring community or satellite towns. As a teacher, you are restricted. As a teacher, your timeline between 8 or 9, 10 o'clock is taken from 8, 9, 10 o'clock prime time towards, say, 3, 4. Where else can you go and teach? But as a doctor, you have other opportunities. You can work in government hospitals and have a private hospital. Nothing happens. There are so many of them. As a lawyer, you are entitled to have as many clients. For those that are working with government, have their private chambers. So they could work within the government circles and attend to clients outside their domain.
So I have a teacher also employed by government. As a matter of fact, if you want the best of teachers for extra lessons for your students, they will tell you go to government schools. And most of them are.
Look, what we are looking at, we have to be very objective with this. Now, you remember there was this time that we refer to teachers as, when you say, they talk about their welfare, we say their reward is in heaven. You remember that? You remember?
Not if there is anybody whose reward is not in heaven.
No, our rewards is all in heaven, right? But the truth about it is, again, this. The teachers in Nigeria are grossly denied of what they are supposed to have. I think not too long ago, those in FCT were on strike. Where are they going to take their cries to? Oftentimes, they do everything possible to see that their entitlement is being paid. So what they get, to me, is not commensurate with what their counterpart as directors gets overtly, including transport, housing. But what these other guys get as transport is stipend.
So we don't actually prolong this conversation because we can go on and on about the teachers because it happens with every other public servant as well. So this is what the NLC president feels. And you said rather than doing an extension, why not talk about the welfare? Why not talk about after service? Why not talk about the benefits? Why not talk about the cost of living for these people? I think also that there has been a conversation around that. And even if all those things are addressed, like the teachers and the judges who have their years prolonged, these other people too will still have to get all of these benefits.
Sorry, let me branch out a little bit. Only recently, you're aware that NYC was announcing too that they need to extend the number of years of corpus.
No, that wasn't the case.
No, I'm just giving an example.
The Minister of Education wrongly.
Oh, wrongly.
Yeah.
Okay, we all had it that it was going to be changed in that pattern.
That wasn't what Dr. Allows said. Yes. What he said was they should probably look at the areas where they have less teachers for mathematics, English, sciences. If the teachers can stay longer in those areas, and probably look for skill acquisition that can also. So it wasn't the generality of core members.
To the best of my knowledge, I feel that the Nigerian pensioners are not treated rightly. And what they need at the moment is a better welfare. Because the impact of what they get will trickle down to those that are serving. Because if they are treated rightly, the idea of stealing in the offices will be reduced, because you now know very well that as I'm retiring, my entitlement as at when due is paid. Then number 2, delivering services to the letter is there, no shortcuts. I'm supposed to spend 5 hours or 5 minutes in my place of work, I am there and I'm delivering. But when I'm not given all of this and I have bills to pay, including my house, my children, I can't take care of them, what happens then? Those are the consequences. But when you look at the pensioners, okay, fine. Madam, we have a whole lot of them. From the police, to civil service, to the soldiers themselves. They are loitering on our streets. You are a living witness of what is happening in our offices today. Most directors, most permanent secretaries don't want to leave their offices. Are you aware? Most of them.
If you say so.
Most secretaries don't want to leave their offices. They want to extend. They want extension. They want to be extended, including one of our security apparatus, or the chief of one of our security apparatus today. This thing has been extended. So what happens to other principal staffs that were supposed to occupy, because the essence of life is to say that you attain a height. And I'm up to that height, and I can't attain the height because yours has been extended. And it's very possible I might not get there. And you get it all, and you go, and it comes down.
That shouldn't be our focus, but I think also probably to set the record from what they said is from their act or regulation, the IG chief seat is a political appointment.
No,
and you run a single term of 4 years or
that's one of our
seat.
security forces.
Oh, well, that's the only person that it seems like his term has been extended for 4 years, amongst others. Kemi in customs, I guess, or immigration, one of them also has been extended. But I think he's the only person occupying that seat for 4 years, and they are doing that on the premise that that tenure is supposed to be 4 years, so why not allow it? But that's not the conversation. We're talking about people who really don't want to leave offices.
Yeah, that's...
How do we get the younger ones? How does the system get my children, your children, to also benefit from the civil service?
For me, the world is evolving, and as such, some of what we have in our offices today are not moving with the world. Some of the people we have in our offices today are not moving with the trend, with the times. You cannot use a 19th century model to solve the 21st century problem, true or false. In most of our offices, or what we have are some of the civil servants, right? My very distinguished and senior brother in the seasoned broadcaster has said it. But then I'll try to define it a bit. Some of them are stagnant. Some are stagnant with the old model of the 19th century ideas. Whereas the world is moving, it's evolving. Now, because the world is evolving, allow people that are ready to work, when your time comes to an end, please, what you do to them is provide the necessary tool for them. Provide a good opening for them to retire and stay well, health care, good services where they can live for. Don't forget, life expectancy as of last year was just about 61 to 65. But as of today, in Nigeria, it has dropped to about 53 to 54 or 56. Why? Economy. So mine is take a holistic look at your economy, the consequences it's going to pose on the economy, share it into two, get the welfare packages for these people to come out and live right, give them good health care, whatever services, and other social security, and it serves them right. So that your son, my son, our son, that are moving with the trend can bring in innovation to bring in better administration. That is my take.
So what were they doing, not mentoring the younger ones to be able to take over from them so that their wealth of experience is not lost?
Should I take it?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, you remember what they're telling you, especially for the younger ones that comes into office? You are told you should wait for your time. I'm not a civil servant. They do that very often. And they pride us from several meetings.
Wait for your time.
Yes.
On what?
We did a training.
What?
We did a training for a broadcast outfit. And what happened in that training was because we said this outfit is huge, it's big. And we had some of our partners from the UK that came in. And then I said, come, wait a minute. We have a marketing department. I said, yes. We called the marketing executives. We discussed with the chief executive. I said, discuss with them. And we had one-on-one with them. And I said, okay, in terms of training, do you get trainings? They said, no, they don't get training. They are the foot soldiers. They don't get trainings. But we now went to the senior executives. We had a meeting with them. Do you have trainings? Yeah, they do. Do you trickle down the training? Does it come down so that these other soldiers gets the training, but you know this, you know this, it gets better, and you know it doesn't. But these are the guys that goes out there. They need the training much more. So if you give them the opportunity to get this training, they'll better a lot of how the organization works. And very oftentimes, you see, that's why government in itself is trying to do a PPP thing in terms of managing its own cooperative or its own agencies. It's like the one that has to do with finances. And saying that, okay, because of the lukewarm attitude of some of these people, let's bring in people that will invest their resources, invest their time, and they will drive this to the later. So they most oftentimes they don't allow these junior officers, the newly recruited, to pass this knowledge to them. They tell them, okay, wait for your time. And in very crucial meetings, where they're supposed to be allowed access to, they deprive them from the tools. Now, take for instance, let's assume this place is a visual, or television, right? Now, you as the GM, the junior officer that does what you're doing right now, her dressing pattern is supposed to change. So much that if you are getting a 20 naira, she can get 15 naira to dress up, to put on those things well. So that it encourages what? It motivates others to come in. Now, if you say because you are 60, you are experienced, I'm not denying that. But in this year and time, the world is evolving. The world is leaving us behind. And we have to move as well with the world. And you cannot say because you are 60, I'm not disputing, they have wealth of experience, wonderful wealth of experience. But like I said again, please quote me, you cannot use the 19th century model to solve the 21st century. Nigeria is itching for people that are innovative, change makers, entrepreneurs, businessmen, proactive people with mindset to sharpen and bring government at par with other countries of the world.
And we don't have that in the public service.
Well, you know, apart from the fact again that some of our civil servants, I mean, they might not like what I'm going to say right now. Their ages, if there's any way the pluck is like an orange or an orchard, I think it's finished because they have plucked almost all the ages. They keep changing. 60 years is beautiful, but some have exhausted the 60 years and they're still 55 years. Some can't even climb the staircase from the ground floor to the 5th floor. They have to wait for lift. They have exhausted the 60 years. And in all of those years, ask them to put concurrently, side by side, their experience. I tell you frankly, between 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, you can't get 1 to 50.
But let me also put this to you. Do you also realize that there hasn't been any employment in the past 10 years or so?
Why should there be employment? If you don't go,
and there is no junior officers, who are the senior ones left? Who are they training?
There must be a going, for me to use the word, there must be a going before there will be a coming in.
There is a going every day.
There is a going. Who feels it?
Exactly.
Who feels it? Don't forget, some of the people that feels it are not supposed to be there. They are either children of a particular people or a particular sect because they were either directors, they took their children, and the change makers that I'm talking about are not given the opportunity. And when you're not given the opportunity, you become what is possible.
So this problem seems multifaceted and
it is
beyond just extending years of service.
That's why I said there should be a holistic.
So if you're going to be having a one-on-one conversation with the NLC president, because I love the idea of let's increase the money, let's get a better say, let's stay more years in service. If you're going to sit with the NLC president, I would want a conversation around the output. When you come to work, what do you do? How do you go about your work? That's for me. But for you, if you'll be having a one-on-one conversation with the NLC president moving forward in the interest of the public service, because I know there was a lawyer who came here and I felt it was going to be on the side of the civil servants, and he put it straight to me. How many of you are civil servants compared to the population in the public?
Very clear.
I was shocked. That was frantic.
Okay.
And I was like, for real? So if you're going to be having a conversation with the NLC president one-on-one to better the lot of the civil servants, because I know that is what he wants to do, what would you be advising him to do apart from this?
What we have in the labor force, please permit me to say, is mundane, it's corrosive, it's colonial, it's colloquial. We need to move with the time. And moving in the time needs some inclusiveness. It's very possible that you bring them in. As much as you're extending it, I asked a question here, between 1 to 10, in their 30 or 40 years of service, what did they bring to bear? Nothing. Now what do we do? Why not take what we have on ground, look at the years of retirement, look at when you are retiring, your entitlement pay possibly increased, look at, because when you are leaving service, it's very possible that you may not enjoy the entitlements and all the privileges that you enjoy, travelings and all of that. Your life too is fragile at that moment. You need huge and comprehensive healthcare package. If we had buses, we had tram, we have train, then as a senior citizen, that's what I was looking for. As a senior citizen, you could walk up to a train station. Hello, my name is John Bull. I served in the Federal Civil Service in 1932. Please, I'm going to Lagos. And they looked at it, and possibly they have a barcode. It shows your detail, comes out, pops out. And instead of paying 150,000 naira, say, for senior citizens, it's half of that. But then, will you be happy to retire? You mustn't just stay there. What are you bringing? What has been your contribution? What else do you want to contribute afterwards? In this 21st century, when the world is operating on AI, how many of them can move?
That's the question I was asking. Probably if the NLC or the civil servants know they will get all these benefits, I wonder how many of my seniors have retired, and up till now they can't point to anything that they've received, even the ones that are compulsory deduction.
Madam, I've had a one-on-one engagement with the NLC president on labor, especially those factory and industrial factory workers, construction workers. I'm in a place where they come in their multitude, they come in their numbers. Now, when they see these white men, they call them masters. They call them masters. And whatever happens there, these guys gets away with it. And we send these people to their place to say, okay, please look at this case. It's industrial accident. Because their safeguard or their safety guard or their safety wears or gears were not given to them. They don't care about safety. Now he said no, this one was their other partner. But I said, you are the one we know, you are the number one. So speak to him, say he's going to speak to him. The thing still continues. So we need to carefully take a look at what we have. Manage it as much as possible. When we do that, when we manage it, let them come out and be smiling. And you see people saying, oh, my years is 2 years. Oh, I wish they can slide it back. Okay, I think I can take, what do you call it, post-retirement, whatever, and they will pay you off, and you go. Like we say in our local palace, not only you have come, you have come like a masquerade. You've done your beat. You have danced. What else do you want to dance? You've been dancing for 25 years, for 35 years. Brother, please quit the scene so that others can come in. My friend tells me in the police force that there hasn't been recruitment for a very long time. Before now, anyway. The younger the recruits, what we call the constable, hasn't been there. Now why? Because if you don't move, you must move. I said the word again. There must be a worker before they must be coming.
So why are judges sitting 35 years? Are they not also as tired after talking and using shorthand to write?
Whereas
judgment.
Whereas abroad,
shouldn't they be tired at 60 to go?
See, okay, let me be very frank with you. There are professions that actually need some level of experience. Among such professions is the soldiering world. In the soldier. Judges, you see, it comes with wealth of experience. Law as it is, sometimes they call it referrals or some of this that happens over a period of time. But what they need to do is to train them to use the contemporary mechanism, i.e., it's equally admissible in law. You could do video, audio, visual recordings where you could go through this and go back and sit down rather than using shortcut because it delays the law time. It takes a case that ought to have been just 2-3 months for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So they are I will give a little exemption for judges for soldiers. If you see the U.S. Army, you see those veterans. The wealth of experiences they've been, and they embrace innovation. They embrace technology. Like in the case of us, I want to believe that they have just refused to do that. Else, if there's a caveat, and say for a judge or for a magistrate, between this period and this period, you must be able to attend these courses and you must use all of these applications so that you move with the trend and so that you don't delay the justice processes. So if it's supposed to be discharged and dispatched within a particular period, you meet with him within that period and you discharge such.
I still want to believe that the reason why the NLC president probably is doing this is for a quick fix for him, so to speak, that if you have the years extended, you can have enough money to take care of yourself or whatever it is. But for other crimes that you talk about, by the time you're retiring, some things are just in place. Cost of living doesn't keep skyrocketing. You don't have to fast and pray to get your pension. You don't have to visit anybody. You don't have to go upgrading, updating, up whatever that you have to do to get the money that you worked for.
Madam Moderator, sorry, keep saying and use the word innovation. You see, like NLC should tell government to fasten and fast track the use of innovation. Now, you see, pensioners could leave from Kara and Moda to come to Abuja to be verified. Sorry again, I say I'm somewhere where these will travel all the way from Borno, from Lagos, from different locations to come to us to say, please, my pension, and we do all of that with them. Else, when innovation is used, all you need to do is, we have local government. Why do we have local government? Making government closer to you where you can attain governance. Now, all your details we have. All you need to do, get to the nearest local government to your village with your thumbprints and a camera before you. You sit there, have a system here with your thumbprint like the bank does. Your image pops out so that you don't say somebody is coming to lay claim to what he doesn't have. Your thumbprint, every information, he sees you. An aged man that lives, we've had cases of where some of them were kidnapped, some accident, some died, some they were fragile, they couldn't make up, and they've all died. We will have this in place. It will help to solve or salvage this ancient then kingdom company that every day we keep saying, because it is practiced here, just adopt it. No, there should be careful research, and that will help us to actually come out with this. Those that are coming out of the system, their entitlement should be paid. It's possible that they want to use it to start up a small business. It's possible that they want to start up a small farm and they don't have what they have saved, they use it to pursue. We have a word in Nigeria that is very common now. We pursue everything. You pursue your school, you finish your school, you pursue job, you finish job, you get a job, you pursue your entitlement, you pursue results, you pursue everything. Whereas abroad, like I said again, you are in your house as a statesman. Hey, is this Mr. John this? Oh, you retired this, and the postmaster brings it to you. They honor you, they reverence you. So you see yourself as a statesman, you are happy and proud to be
So it's
retired.
beyond just extending service. Both
goes
parties
beyond,
need
just
to
goes
do, the
beyond.
federal government, the NLC will
A
need
lot
to
of
sit to. Thank you, if that's your conversation. We'll say a big thank you to you, Comrade Oman Dave, human rights activist and communication consultant. To the team on the program, to Gina Alfrey, Riskati Jeme Ojenu, Kiro KK, supervised by Chikizi Chinkata. My name is Bukky Towuru.